Impact Wrestling, they are making their way back to the Lone Star State in January. Their first pay-per-view of 2022. Hard to Kill, coming from the factory in Dallas. And someone that's going to be very vital to that pay-per-view joins us now on the Vaqueros Cafe and Cantina hotline. She is a 6-time former WWE Women's Champion, and for the 4th time, she is your current reigning and defending Impact Wrestling Knockouts champion, and she's a good friend. We've had her on. Any day we can have Mickie James on, it's a good day. Mickie James, follow her on Twitter at Mickie James. Hello, Mickie.
How are you?
I'm good. I was just with Joe Roderick, who does radio in St. Louis, and we were talking about the night at in Miami. The three of us were together at the Donovan McNabb party, I think, for Super Bowl 54.
Yes. Or was it? No, it was Jamie.
Yeah,
Foxx.
Jamie Foxx, right? And Jamie Foxx was there as well.
Party.
Yes,
Donovan was there.
Yes, Donovan was there. It was a swanky hotel. You outclassed all of us as far as your dress, so it was wonderful.
Thank you.
How's your family?
Wonderful.
Good. Glad to hear it. Before we get to the wrestling, you're also an accomplished singer, songwriter, musician. So tell us the latest on the music career.
Oh, thanks. I just performed at the Frank Brown Music Festival, the Songwriters Festival, and I did the Native American tribute show there because people may know, may not know, I'm Native American on my mother's side.
Right.
So they do a Native American tribute show every year, but it's also just a really cool thing to do, to go meet other songwriters as I'm working on the next projects and stuff like that. Just good connection place. Plus it's on the beach, like in Floribama, so I can't complain about going to the beach. So yeah. I'm just like, but yeah, and I've been working on, actually I just had a call with my producer about which single we're going to do next, and then I've been working on that album, which is supposed to come out. It's coming out next year with all these original songs that I wrote through the pandemic. So yeah, It's going. It's doing
nice. Very good. Yeah. Now, I know you've done a Christmas song before. Is there talk about doing a Christmas album in the future?
Maybe. I'm still trying to get, because I only have like limited time to push my Christmas song.
Mm-hmm.
It was just released 2 years ago, and Mariah, I still haven't knocked Mariah out of the loop. So I'm just going to keep hammering Christmas presents home for the meantime. But there could be the potential to do a Christmas album. Did you see like Pistol Annie's just came out with a Christmas album?
I think I saw that. Yes. So yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing whatever comes out from you. I'll definitely get it on my phone and everything. You're still co-hosting GAW, Grown Ass Women, with SoCal Val and Victoria, right?
I am. Thank you so much. We're like 80 some episodes in now.
Right.
It's crazy. Something that we started through the pandemic to kind of chit chat and maybe hopefully give some fun, lighthearted therapy to everybody, including ourselves. And now it's really kind of taken on a life of its own. So it's so much fun. So much
Absolutely.
fun. It's just a way to have conversations with people in a different way,
Absolutely. And you can get that on YouTube. Search GAWTV or Grown Ass Women. You'll see it. Some fantastic episodes. They touch on everything, lifestyle, everything. It's a great watch. Yeah. Let's talk about so you returned to Impact Wrestling earlier this year. You've had a couple runs with them before. So tell me what the difference is between the way the locker room was then and the way it is now.
Oh, wow. That's a tough question. Thank you. It's a really good question. I would say, the locker room, first off, I would say that the women's division, regardless of which company that you go to, all the women's divisions have really stepped up, and we have probably some of the strongest women's wrestlers that we've ever had, out there. I would say one of the biggest things was, obviously when I first came back to Impact, I came back because I was putting on Empower, and that was so near and dear to me because I think because I put a lot of energy and a talk around this all female product. And so I was able to do that. And it was very successful and it did so well and trended #1 and #2, just above and below UFC that night. So that was pretty awesome. But yeah, I think the biggest difference, there really isn't a whole lot besides the people, you know? I mean,
Mhm.
there's a few people that are still there. There's Gail and Madison and some of the guys. However, I think that I have changed a lot since the last time I was there. You know, the first time I came to Impact, I was like really, I was kind of heartbroken from my first departure because I just freshly left WWE and it was still really fresh, but I was also a lot younger and and I was having trouble like trying to figure out what I wanted to do. Like and I had an opportunity to go to Impact and pretty much recreate myself. And I was able to incorporate my music into my character. I was able to evolve and from that crazy girl next door that would skip to the ring to a little bit more who I genuinely am, I think, as a
Mhm.
person in hardcore country, uh, and create and develop this awesome character. But uh, now coming back, you know, there's a whole new crop of talent, whole new crop of girls, and they challenge me in different ways. And it's cool because I can mix it up and have different types of matches with them, you know. So I always love that challenge. But I feel like whereas before I kind of came in as on equal kind of playing fields, now coming back, um, obviously like there's just a lot like the girls respect me and they love me, but I feel like I'm more in a little bit of a mentor role, like not a mom but the cool aunt, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah,
The one that'll let them sneak into the back and get a snort of whiskey or something, right?
a snort of whiskey, yeah,
That's
like
it.
definitely Blanche,
Of
definitely.
course. Of course. Um, some in I would say if you had to pick, if there's two things that makes Impact Wrestling what they are, the two kind of the signature calling cards, the X division and their women's division. The women's division has been top notch all the way back, going back to the TNA days. And so now you're back and you add to that and you see the talent that is in that women's locker room. And I got to imagine that kind of that challenges you to step your game up quite a bit.
Absolutely. I love a challenge and I love competition because I think it brings out the best of the performer of anyone. I would hope that they all welcome competition because, you know, I just think it levels everyone up. I've always said, Stu, like I've always said that the knockouts and Impact and TNA they were always doing it right by the
Mm-hmm.
ladies. Before it was you know, a catchy hashtag or a thing to jump on. They were always giving. I mean, we would have 2 segments on the show. We would always have time. We'd have the chance to do cage matches and all of these things without really a question of like, oh, do we want to do that for the girls? Like it was never. I've main evented the show on Impact, and you know, so I feel like they were kind of pushing that envelope well before the curve, well before it was the trendy thing to do. And you know, obviously because of that, I feel like they were really a catalyst in that whole movement of the give the divas a chance. Because they weren't getting, you know, aside from the knockouts division, the women weren't getting television time and they weren't getting match time. They were the first to get cut on their times and they would have 4-minute matches with 6 girls. And I know I was part of some of that, you know, so, and in those moments you go, yeah, it kind of stinks, but you're also grateful for that opportunity because you got to take every moment and turn it into gold. I always say that instead of like
Right.
bitching about it, you have to find a way to make it work for you
Right.
because and then hopefully it'll eventually pan out and then you can get what you really want, right?
Right. I mean, Jim Ross always says maximize your minutes, and
No
that's
doubt.
what you do. Um, Before we get to Hard to Kill, you mentioned you work with Empower. You've been working with the NWA as well. And so talk about the experience with working with Billy, Billy Corgan and everybody at the NWA, and where else? I mean, we're talking this Forbidden Door. Where else could we see you? Could we, maybe revive the partnership with AEW, or MLW may do a women's division or somewhere like that?
All
Just
that.
talk about that for a moment.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, it's a beautiful thing that the forbidden door has kind of been swung wide open. And if I look back at it, I go like, I love Billy, and I have I've known Billy since my first Impact days, like my first at the Nashville Fairgrounds. I've known Billy for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really grateful for him for giving me the platform and believing me enough to let me, to work with me and do Empower. And I thought that it was an incredible show, and it really moved mountains in a lot of ways and kind of opened up the door. And I know that there's conversations internally happening now, like when you say, oh, MLW is talking about their own women's thing, or AEW is kind of talking about their women's thing, and Ring of Honor was doing the,
Mm-hmm.
Women Wednesdays and stuff like that. But it's been really cool. It's been cool because it's just one of those things that I love the business so much. And I think that I've always wanted to, I always knew that I would eventually parlay behind the scenes in some capacity. And for me, I guess I always thought it would be creatively, because that's the way my brain works. But to be able to be, put in charge of like a group of women, and a group of women who really believe in me and trust me and respect me. It was really cool. And, I think, obviously the possibilities are endless. Right now, I am the Impact Knockouts World Champion.
Mm-hmm.
And as a champion, I never back down from any challenges. So as long as no one's scared of me, I certainly am not scared of them. So,
Hey, I like it. I expect nothing less from you.
Yeah.
Let's get to Hard to Kill. Before we talk about your match, you mentioned about the women's division or the Knockouts division in Impact breaking barriers. First time ever, a women's Ultimate X match.
Unbelievable.
So we've seen those throughout the years. The Elix Skipper coming off the cage and stuff like that. So talk for a moment about how excited you are to see this an Ultimate X match for the Knockouts.
It's going to be incredible. It's going to be incredible. And as you know, that's a match that has been reserved for the men for obvious reasons. It's a very dangerous match. It's a high risk match. And I think that what a bold move by saying, hey, girls, but the thing is that the women now are completely capable of having this match and going out there and stealing the show. And it's almost a little bit nervous, because I certainly don't want them to one up me.
Right. Of course.
But I do want them. But the reality is I actually do want them to one up me, because here's my thing is that I feel like you should go out there and want to be the star of the show every single night, so I hope they do try to.
Absolutely.
I know, I think that is going to be a locker room sellout, that match, because it's been a match that I think that has been in conversation for a long time. And here we are finally seeing it happen and come to fruition. And I'm so excited for the girls involved. It's going to be history making. And it's definitely going to be one where I'm going to be sitting there like this.
Absolutely. I get you. All right. So let's talk about your match. You're going to face Deonna Purrazzo, the lady that you took the title from. You've had this rivalry going back to when you first appeared in Impact, when you're still working with the NWA Empower thing. And this rivalry has gotten heated. And so she has asked for her contractually obligated rematch at Hard to Kill. You beat her the first time. So I know there's going to be a little bit.
Again, Stu.
Say again?
I'm going to beat her again.
And you're going to beat her again. How does that happen, though? Let's talk about, your keys to victory coming up at Hard to Kill.
It's a tough one, because, I have been studying even more of Deonna's matches and stuff. And the reality is that she is technically probably one of the strongest wrestlers in the world, as one of the strongest female wrestlers technically in the ring in the world. And I feel like I've always given her just due in saying, and I truly believe this, that she is probably one of the greatest, knockouts champions of all time. But besides me,
It's second to you.
no, she's fantastic. She's actually she's remarkable out there.
Right.
And I thought that we had an incredible match. And I was grateful to finally shut her up and beat her after all the things of her showing up my house and, just saying and doing all these things. And for me, it's mostly her attitude that makes me crazy, because she is so good that she doesn't have to be such a winch. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because I always say, let your talent speak for itself. But I don't know what to expect, because if you've seen Deanna lately, she's lost her whole, the gear and the sparkles and the big Pope hat and all the things, and she's went back down to almost her roots or her basics in jeans and a t-shirt, and really she's in a different mindset right now. So I don't know what Deanna I'm dealing with when it comes to Hard to Kill, but the beautiful thing is that I've been in there with every single type of competitor, there is. And if there's one to play mind games, I am the queen of playing mind games. I kind of mastered it. I kind of invented it,
Absolutely.
So, I'm not worried. I'm definitely going in with a different mindset, because I feel like I was just angry and real pissed off last time I faced her. Whereas now, because I proved myself and I beat her, I'm not as angry as I was then, because after all the things. But she's coming from, after losing the night, I can tell, and she may not admit this out loud, but her being champion was her identity. That was everything to her.
Yeah.
And now, without that championship, she's lost. She doesn't know what to do, and she's scrambling and she's pulling at straws. And I feel like she would dip to pretty much any level to get back this championship, but I am not going to let it happen.
I know you won't. Because you can dip some pretty low levels too. I know. So
I can. Yeah. I don't resort to cheating, but sometimes. It depends on, is the action warranted?
Right. Fire with fire. Right.
Fire with fire. Right.
Yeah. Impact Wrestling's Hard to Kill. It'll be Saturday, January 8th, 2022, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. It'll come to you from the factory in Dallas. They'll have TV tapings the next day on January 9th. And Mickie James will be a big part of it. She is Mickie James, the Impact Knockouts World Champion. Follow her on Twitter at Mickie James. Mickie, it is so good to see you. Will I see you in Los Angeles for the Super Bowl?
I wish. I don't know.
All right. Well,
I wish. Why? Maybe.
Okay.
What is this black and white picture behind you? I'm so distracted. I see your All In poster.
Black. Those All In. Over here, that would be. Oh, that would be my autograph photo from Bill Mercer, the voice of World Class Championship Wrestling, of course, former radio voice for the Dallas Cowboys and the Texas Rangers.
So cool.
Yes.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I got to meet him a few times. He would come down and do baseball for the Round Rock Express, the AAA affiliate for the Rangers, and at 90 something, he's still calling baseball games. So it's crazy. So yeah,
when you have a gift, you have a gift.
Hey, that's right. That's right, Mickie. It is so good to see you. I wish you and your family all the best. A wonderful holiday season, and I will see you in January at the factory.
I cannot wait.
Sounds good. Thanks, Mickie.